I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me? Welcome to the Beat Around the Bench podcast about woodworking, good times, and general jackassery, with your hosts, Jess of Jess Build It, Colton of Cold Crit, and Ross of RNC Woodworking and Designs. You can find us all on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. In this week's episode, we funk it up real good. Colton saves Bambi. Jess gets hot and bothered by a front door. And Ross is building a table for the Jetsons. All of that and more is coming right up on this episode of the Beat Around the Bench podcast. Now, for episode 106, the Beech Boys.
Okay, that was the simplest and easiest one. Why would
I'm going to say that one's a gimme. Yeah.
So the reason that I did that one was...
Well done, though.
Thank you. It was actually because Brian Wilson passed away yesterday. One of the founding members of the Beech Boys. He basically was the founder of the Beech Boys. And he was one of the most revolutionary people in the world of music and recording. It was literally him and Paul McCartney across the pond from each other, trying to up the game in the recording studio. So
it's a song with him in it, like just like Brian Wilson did.
Yes,
that's a line from a song.
It's Bare Naked Ladies song. Strange enough, yeah. But gentlemen, how the hell are you?
Man,
I think everybody's tired.
Yeah,
there's been so much happened since we talked last. It feels like it was last year. For me right now, it's it's kind of wild. I'm super excited to dive into it.
Jess, before we jump into everything, do you have a food question?
I do have a food question. Cheese, okay?
Okay.
Some people don't like cheese. There's certain things they're like, why do you gotta ruin a sandwich with cheese? You know, things like that.
Dude, cheese is so good that even they make vegan cheese and stuff. They make fake cheese.
I mean, my mother was, and her mother was French, Belgian. Like, there's like 700 kinds of cheese or 400 and something kinds of cheese just in like Belgium.
Yeah.
And not to mention France and every other place. So, all right. So, favorite cheese for snacking? Just grab a little, like you're going to cube it up for a party or however you're going to do it.
Smoked gouda, or
I was going to say smoked gouda,
or like a really sharp Vermont cheddar.
Smoked cheddar is really good to me. I think I get a little more smoke out of the smoked cheddar. When it's all creamy.
Yeah.
And there's another one. I think it starts with an A, but it's like really hard. Like I like whenever a cheese gets so hard. It may not be an A word, but I like a cheese when it gets like so aged and hard that it has like the crystals that form in it.
Okay. You like crystal in all parts of your life.
I do.
All right, so meth.
I was about to say, luckily not in the drug scene.
So the next cheese would be like, how about just like a nice turkey sandwich, right? Like a nice fresh.
Like a standard turkey, or are we talking like Cajun turkey?
Maybe like a deli where they cook the turkey there and then sliced it. One of those good turkey sandwiches with lettuce, tomato, little mayo, and a nice bread, maybe French bread. What kind of cheese are you going to slice?
Provolone, maybe? Okay. Or Swiss? Something white?
How about you, Jess? Let me think on this.
I'm a big pepper jack fan. I think pepper jack kind of brings a really good pepper jack, brings things to life. Provolone's okay, but it just doesn't have enough flavor for me. I have found smoked provolone recently. It's pretty good. But it depends. If I'm trying to keep it light, a nice like mozzarella, not a skim mozzarella, but like a fresh mozzarella, that's really good. And I'll put a little salt and pepper on it.
So I agree with you. If it's especially like a Cajun style turkey, I'm definitely doing pepper jack. Or if it's like hot turkey, then it's definitely the pepper jack. On the other side, you can't go wrong with like a really classic aged cheddar.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Cole?
Yeah. Well, I have to agree with you on the pepper jack. I was saying like provolone or Swiss, but
it just brings that because turkey's kind of, even it's just
kind of bland on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, I've been doing a lot of cooking. I had a whole cheese thing the other day. So I've been using the heck out of my Blackstone griddle.
Nice.
Like our big thing is doing like the smash burgers. Like I talked about that potato before, right?
Have you done Philly cheesesteaks on there?
Oh, that's next. I have not done
they
that.
are
Chinese
amazing.
stir fry is the best.
Dude,
on
seriously,
those
like
too.
a hibachi grill, you can do like hibachi style stuff. It's so good.
Because it gets rid of all that water, you know?
But what I did do the other day, so we've been doing a lot of like the smash burgers, right? I did quesadillas. And at first I was going out looking for some Oaxaca cheese. And I couldn't find any good Oaxaca cheese. And so I did a mix of provolone and mozzarella. And man, like you could tear them apart, like slow motion for a video. It was so good.
Which brings me to grilled cheese. A really good grilled cheese. What are you going for? I like regular, like white American, like just fake. It's all gooey, almost
Kraft
like
singles.
Yeah, like white American, like doubled up on there.
If you're doing just like one type of cheese, either the cheddar or the American, if you're like doing one of those where you put like 4 types in there, Gruyere has to be in there. You're definitely doing provolone. You're doing mozzarella and you're doing cheddar.
Yeah, cheddar's really good.
Yeah,
it's kind of oily, but that's
I'd
the
say.
point.
Yeah, well, no, if I'm doing it at home, go ahead.
If you do the cheddar that is not the yellow cheddar, do like the white, like Vermont style cheddar. It's not oily and crazy like that. It's really good. Okay. Sorry, Colton. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. If I'm doing it at home, I'm grabbing 2 Kraft singles. But if I'm ordering it at a restaurant, I'm gonna go with the one that just has the biggest list of cheeses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it just tries to throw as much in there as they can. Yeah. And then I'm pairing it with tomato soup.
Okay. Last one, bougie cheese. You know, like a soft cheese, like you're gonna have with some crackers and wine.
Whatever Crystal's buying.
I like Camembert over Brie, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Or like there's one that's like a Brie with like wine. It's like a wine Brie. It's like purple. It's got little bits of grapes in it. Oh
yeah, so you can do like a port wine cheese. Those are really good. One that's really good for like snacking if you have fruits and stuff with it as well to go on top of like the crackers or bread or whatever. Halloumi cheese. It's
I'm not familiar.
So it's a little bit almost like a steak kind of consistency. Like you can grill up a whole thing of halloumi, but I feel like we're leaving out feta. Nobody's talked about feta.
Okay, well, let's talk about the crumble cheese.
Like on pizza, baby. Yeah,
or queso fresco.
Yeah, so queso fresco is astounding. You can also use, Colton, you can use Chihuahua cheese instead of the Oaxaca. Instead of the Oaxaca cheese. It's really good in a quesadilla.
What about cheese dip?
Oh, it needs to be as fake as possible, like Velveeta, a jalapeno nacho cheese.
Yeah, queso. Yeah.
We did try. There was a white. Is basically like it was Kroger brand white cheese, but in a brick. It was right next to Velveeta, and they paired it, or there was like already had jalapeno in it.
Nice,
and it was okay.
Have you guys?
I would have still added a can of Rotel.
Have you guys ever done queso fundido when you're out in a Mexican restaurant?
I've seen it.
Yeah, it's literally fun with cheese. But if you have a chance to try it, it's usually either the Oaxaca or the Chihuahua cheese broiled with chorizo in it, and it comes out almost like the consistency of like the cheese on French onion soup. That kind of like thickness, if you will. But then you just scoop it out and pop that on a tortilla.
Is that pretty similar to flamiato?
Similar idea, yes.
Okay.
I've had the Greek one.
We love a flamiato.
Saganaki.
Brandy. Yeah, they cover it brandy and light it on fire. And then we had it one time for breakfast, which was odd. And at this Greek place that we used to live next to, and she lit her hair on fire.
Oh, that's fun. What a way to start the day.
I had to put her out, and it just burned the end of her bangs, but her eyebrows were all like rolled up. She burned her eyebrows. Oh my God, I laughed.
Oh man,
it was awesome. The smell didn't go well with the breakfast, though.
No, that'll ruin it. Yeah.
Oh, and then one last mention is goat cheese.
Yeah.
So we used to have a lot of goat cheese. Crystal at one point was sensitive to lactose, but she would still punish herself with cheese. But goat cheese is pretty low in lactose. Yeah. And like especially you get like a blueberry goat cheese.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Aldi's got a lot of good cheeses for a good deal. If anybody ever wants to buy cheese.
Do you guys ever wonder if soy milk is just regular milk introducing itself in Spanish?
No.
No,
no, okay. I don't. I think.
Dang, I've never heard that.
It's just full of estrogen, I think, isn't it?
Hola, soy milk.
All of these things, the almond milk, the oat milk, the soy milk, they just, what a racket, because they're just grinding that stuff up.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
Oh, my God.
You're on it already.
I want some sort of weird milk. I don't know. Goat milk, I hear, is pretty good. Cow's milk's just so overdone. There's a lot of milks out there. Okay.
Well, let's dive into it, gentlemen. There's, as Colton alluded to, it feels like it has been forever and a day since we talked, and it's only been 2 weeks, really, or just over 2 weeks with a couple days. But Colton, I'm going to let you start things off because your life has totally changed since we talked last.
Yeah. So since we talked last, we've moved out basically to the country. Like it's awesome. So we were like Northwest Houston, suburbia, and now we're Northeast Houston, but just on the other side of this lake. And so we're like in small town USA, but still 20 minutes from a HEB. Like it's crazy. Yeah, we moved on a little bit of land. It's an older house built in 1945, but the inside was renovated, right? So like, fresh good. Drywall, which, and I've just been homesteading it, man. Like, working on a ton of stuff. So like yesterday I built a mailbox.
Nice.
I'm pretty proud of it. I think like a small car, I think it could total a smart car.
Nice.
If they hit it.
That's what I'm talking about.
And, like there's only 2 screws on the whole thing.
Nice.
And just 'cause I was running out of time to do more joinery and stuff. It's just like a simple half lap I did, but it was still fun doing it. It got a little sketchy with my dado blade. Remember
your ghetto dado? Yes.
Yeah, my ghetto dado blade. It's a super old Craftsman benchtop table saw that my dados barely fit on, but I got all my fingers and we were able to use it pretty well. And I built a fence.
I got
a temporary fence.
Obviously, you moved in over the past week, but like your wife is due in like T-minus 15 days, right? Or like 18 days, something like that?
Well, as of yesterday, she's 37 weeks. So that means she's full term
in 2 weeks.
And the baby could come tomorrow or in 5 weeks.
Okay.
And
after 36, the lungs are pretty much developed.
Yeah.
So they're pretty safe.
Yeah.
So basically, do you need to try and like, obviously you packed up the old house. Do you need to now try and get a nursery ready in like day one?
So we are preparing that. Also, we're not fully moved out of the old house. We have like most of the actual house. My full shop is still at the old house.
Okay.
And because I still have some repairs to finish up over there and like to get the house ready to sell. And I'm trying to make it that house where it's just beautiful, sells instant. But we can dive into that sec. But sorry, what was the question?
The nursery.
Nursery, right. So we are getting it set up in there. However, from what I understand, which this is first kiddo, right? But they don't actually sleep in the nursery for like 6 months.
A lot of times it can.
And however, we still want to get it nice, right? And so we're setting that up right now. And I'm like, Crystal, you don't want to like paint it a funny color before we start, like, or anything? And she's like, no, it's fine. We got time. She'd rather get like the whole house set up.
Okay.
I agree.
But
nesting.
Yeah. We say that word a lot now. And which it's kind of wild that we moved. And we did it all in one day too. Luckily, Lord. I had a buddy come help me. We rented a 26-foot box truck. But here's a huge tip: is try to get one with a lift gate.
Yes.
Right. Oh, it's night and day. Which at least here in Houston, U-Haul does not have any with lift gates. It's all ramps. And so we had to go to Penske. And I mean, we had everything from like a standing piano to like my desk. I got from my grandpa's Giants. Like there was a lot of stuff that
appliances.
Makes it very hard to get up a ramp. And also another huge moving thing is a strong 4-wheel dolly, right? Like, it's like I think mine's made out of poplar.
Harbor Freight has them
oak
all the time.
Yeah, that was some big old casters. I think it's probably 4-inch casters, and that has saved us. Actually, so we got a fridge this last week, and the guy who we were moving it in, it was just like one guy. I got it from another place that's kind of similar to like the Compro y Vende Materiales place.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of neat. These guys will get these returned refrigerators like straight from LG and Samsung and whoever. And apparently they've been undersizing the compressors lately, so they go out pretty common. And they'll bring it in, put on like twice the size of a compressor, clean them and sell them. And so yeah, we got a $3,000 or $3,200 basically new fridge for $600.
Nice.
And they delivered.
Was it an LG?
Yeah, it's LG. Dude. It has like all like the third door.
I will tell you,
like,
I have had LG appliances in my house since basically I moved in. We changed out all the appliances. They are workhorses. Like I literally have Thanksgiving for 40 to 50 people every year. The oven never blinks. The fridge has never gone out. The only thing we've had an issue with was the dishwasher, and that was more because the plumbing wasn't able to handle all the water that was coming out of it. But like, they are amazing appliances.
When they first came out, they weren't as good, and they've just gotten better and better and better and better over time.
Yeah. Oh, and this one makes the craft ice. Is what they call it. Like the balls of ice. So whenever I'm back on the whiskey train, it's going to be sweet.
Nice.
Oh, whiskey balls for days.
Yeah,
but yeah. So whenever they were moving that fridge in, he saw my 4-wheel dolly. He was like, "Do you mind if we use that? That would help." Like the way we had to move it in, and it's like, hell yeah. But yeah, the 4-wheel dolly is a huge thing.
Dollies and ratchet straps when you're moving big stuff are like the bomb diggity.
Oh yeah. And so there's a ton of deer out here, right? Like just earlier I went out to the truck and I startled a deer that was just on the other side of the truck and it ran off, right? But every time we come home, there's packs of deer. And before we even owned the house, like I came out to inspect it before closing, and I was like, me and the realtor were leaving, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go check out the back fence. I haven't walked to the back of the property yet. And sure enough, there's this little bitty fawn stuck in the fence.
You sent us a picture of that.
I did. Like this little goofball was like upside down. So there's like 2 welded wire fences, like put back to back, pretty old. And it was tangled up in there. And I was like, oh man, there's a dead deer in here. Oh, it looks really small and young. And then I see it blink, and I'm like, oh, we got a fawn. And like I pulled him out. Nothing was broken. I think he'd just been there since that morning. Like I'm thinking that when the realtor got to the house Friday, I'm thinking when she did, she said she saw a bunch of deer run off, and there was like deer scat in the front yard. And I'm thinking the baby got scared and tried to follow its mom. So I looked it up. I think the deer was about 8 days old, and that's at the age where they go, they do bedding.
Yeah.
Right. Like during the day, it's actually more dangerous for the mom to keep the baby with her. Right. Because mom's going to attract predators. And so like she'll put the baby in a spot, and the baby will lay still, like dead still.
Yep.
And then she'll come back at night to feed or to nurse.
Yeah.
And all that. But yeah, I held the baby for a bit, like just trying to figure out what to do before I knew all that. And finally came back and laid it down, and I think we've seen the baby and its mom since. Like the other night, I think we saw it following its mom.
Nice.
But that was kind of neat. It's we got okay. So as far as the house, it's been raining like crazy lately, and we got to do some irrigation here. Seriously,
Mm-hmm.
like it's holding a lot of water. Like on our side of the road, there's not a irrigation ditch.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk to the county, see if they'll come dig it. If not, I was going to borrow a tractor from Corey and Larry, do some of that. As far as the new shop, so there's a smaller garage. I've talked about this a little bit.
Yep.
There's a smaller garage, pole barn, and then like a just roof structure behind that. But the that concrete pad in front that I was wanting to build a shop on, it's underwater, like the front right corner. And so I was talking to some guys about how to come in and maybe dig some irrigation around it. Yeah. And just like direct the water away from it. If that's not possible, then it's not going to work for a shop.
That's good to know.
Yeah. I'm glad it rained on us pretty good before we started building.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, no kidding. There's that. Yeah, but, I threw up a little fence for right now. Just like,
what did you eat?
Bunch of cedar pine. Yeah. No. I threw up a little fence of T-posts and welded wire just around the back, just so we can contain the dogs. Let them out, not have to watch them.
Are they happy having more space?
So yeah, I don't think it's sunk in yet. Like, the Yorkie doesn't give a crap. Yeah. The Yorkie just wants to be in mom's lap. But the pit, yeah, he was actually seemed like he's having some anxiety. Like he wasn't eating his food, like, which is kind of normal. Like whenever we go on a trip, or travel, but he's still sinking in. And like whenever he sees deer, like I'm thinking he's like, that's a weird looking dog, man. What's that skinny legged dog doing? But yeah, it's been neat. I think we have an interesting neighbor that might be we haven't talked to him yet, but Corey and Larry, Crystal's mom and stepdad, they're looking at buying the lot across the road.
Okay.
Which I am surprisingly like super stoked for. Most people don't want to live that close to their mother-in-law, but yeah, Corey's a badass.
She's a slumlord.
Yeah. And I don't know. I really respect the way she parents and all that. Like, I've seen her with other grandkids and stuff. But so they have a neighbor right next to him, and he's got a weird little house. He's only there half the time. Other time he's in Georgia, but it looks like 2 storage containers like stacked on each other, kind of off. Like, I wonder if it's an Amazon home. Like,
could be, or it could just be storage containers that he welded together and made it a house.
Yeah, because
that's a thing too.
That's what Corey asked, but Corey kind of offended him whenever she asked if they were storage containers. And but yeah, so Corey was talking to him about like, oh, we want to buy this plot, right? And he was like, no, please don't. Like literally word for word. Like he was like, I don't know, and trying to talk him out of it, and just kind of weird, like off. But no, I'm excited to meet him and see what we got. We'll follow up more on that whenever we finally do meet him.
I like it.
But
check for smells.
Yeah. It does kind of make me want to get blinds. Like, it seems like the kind of guy to like spy on you or something.
That's the spice.
We don't have any blinds yet. Oh yeah. Last thing on the house that I freaking love it. So our bedroom, it has I might have talked about this. It has 4 windows in it. Right.
And they're not talk about that.
Okay. I did not. No. Okay, good. They're kind of close to one of the corners. Right. And so like in the evening, you see the sun go down, but then in the morning when we wake up, we don't have any blinds. It's just like flooded with light, and it's all green. And
you might want to mow your bedroom.
Right. True. Yeah. Get the mildew down. No. Yeah. But it's such a, I don't know. It's crazy getting out into the woods. Like working on the old house, it was one thing, it's like a suburban house. Like, yeah, I know I got to do this, make this look nice. But like working out here, it feels like I'm working on like a homestead. Yeah. And like I could see being here for a long time.
That's awesome.
And let's hope so. It's a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
It sounds like you got the space for your family, so that's good.
Yeah. So Jess, you started to tell me before we hopped on that you have had a week from hell.
Oh, last couple weeks. So I mean, it's hot.
Yeah, that happens in Florida. I don't know if we've covered that at all.
Mercy. And then just subs.
Hoagies?
All I can say is, like, if you get someone to do electrical in your house and they don't know how to do electrical, that is like
a recipe for disaster.
Well, yeah. Now that has been the case with the electrician. He just doesn't show up as much as he should, but he got it done by the date, so whatever. But like, if you say you know how to do drywall, then I expect you to know how to do drywall better than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a drywaller. I just kind of know how to do it. And I'm like, listen, guys, this is, and having to check and make them fix things, which is stupid because anyway. So I think they're pretty much done doing any work for us, but there's been that. And then, then I'm getting in trouble because I'm not watching them and this and that, but I'm doing other jobs for the jobs, so it's just been a lot of driving and
it's kind of like the leadership thing, right? Where even if you weren't there and you didn't do it, it's still your fault.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
That's which is fine. We've got to schedule it better so that it's like in between phases, right? Like, so for instance, let's talk drywall. So you would want to meet them to talk to them what needs to be hung, and this and that. You would want to talk to them, after they start taping it, what needs to be done and like things and this and that. And then like, you'd want to catch them before they were finished and about to texture. You would, all right, this is what needs, and, things like that. And so same thing with electricians, same thing with anybody, roofers, framers, concrete guys, tile guys, whatever it is, you have to, don't let it get to like where you've painted the drywall and then the customer says, oh, well, what's this wrong here? And what's this wrong here? Like, no, you need to float that out more before we texture it so that it doesn't show through the paint. And so I've been able to skate by some of it, but there just hasn't been time. And I guess what's going to have to happen is I'm going to have to kind of leave whatever it is that I'm doing and then, make time with the subs multiple times within whatever it is that they're doing. That kills what I'm trying to accomplish. So what I'm trying to accomplish now is going to stretch because, I can only leave Dave or whatever to do what he can do. And so there's going to be all this driving there and back and forth. But then today and the past few days I've been working on this door. 2 days, and the front door didn't fit, and it's a block house. It was too tall. So I guess how they used to build doors back in the day is different height. I don't know, but maybe it's the swing. Maybe that's why. Maybe because the one was an out swing and this is an in. Actually, no, I take that back. The other one was an in swing, but they put it in backwards.
Oh,
so literally you could have popped the hinges off of it and broken the house. I mean, and she's all worried about security all the time. Have you ever noticed these aren't security hinges? Because they make it where you want it to swing like that.
Yeah.
You can't take the hinge out.
Correct.
You have to open the door and, it's like a welded thing on the end. You can't take the hinge pin out. So
it's not a flaw, it's a feature.
Yeah, it's easy access.
Jess, have you ever installed English style doors? So instead of being like a normal 36-inch opening for a single door, it's like a 48 or a 50-inch opening, and there's two smaller doors. And
like a French door?
It's almost like a French door, but like it's not as wide as a standard French door. So it's basically, it gives you a little bit more space, but most of the time you don't need to open the entire 36-inch door to get in and out. You can just go in through like the 20 to 24-inch door.
Yeah.
And then if you need more space, you can open it. But yeah, I've
put in barn doors. I've put in regular doors. I put in exterior doors. I put in the kind that flap back and forth, like in a restaurant,
like a saloon.
Well, no, just a single. Like for somebody that has a really nice kitchen that goes into a really nice pantry, I've put in that mechanism, which is kind of neat. I've put in commercial steel doors. I've put in a lot of different doors, but French doors, sliding glass doors, but I've never put I'll put in the door that the old French, what do they call it? Serving door or whatever? The butler door, where only the top half opens.
Oh, the Dutch doors.
Dutch doors. Yeah. I put those in. So that has not yet come up. What I did see, though, not to go on a tirade.
Yeah.
So I'm watching this TV show. I think it was the new Grey's Anatomy. My wife was watching it, and they're in their like apartment in like New York, or the suburbs of New York. I don't know where it takes place, to be honest with you. Maybe it's California. And I'm looking in the background, and they're pretty doors. They're slab front doors. It's probably some type of walnut laminate or walnut veneer, just a single, all the doors in the house. No trim. The wall just comes straight to the edge, and they drywall up to it, and then there's just like the opening. It must be some type of special bead or whatever that they do it that way with. And then the door jam's all built into it. So there's just like this little 1/8 gap around the door and wall straight to it. It's really pretty when it's done well. I mean, obviously that's some craftsmanship right there to do something like that.
Yeah.
But I would be interested to know about that. Anyway, I digress. So I figured out a way to get the door to fit. I had to grind concrete, stucco, plaster, all kind of different stuff, and finally got it in, and then had to figure out how to trim it out some way. So I actually had some pressure treated 1x4 that was dry that we cut up and made some spacers and stuff on the outside. Because remember, block is, well, how deep's a block? 8 inches? 8 inches? I think it's 8 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah, a door frame's what, 4.5, full 5. So, it obviously isn't. And then the stucco had been tapered in. What they used to do is they put the door in. That's how a lot of contractors do it. They put that door in, and then the guy stucco up to the door.
Yeah.
Which is not a good way to do it.
No.
Because
you can never get it out.
No, you can't get it out. Not to mention, and then the other thing is that stucco doesn't adhere. So that little gap there, you don't stucco up to something and expect water not to get in it. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense, but it doesn't have any adhesive properties like a caulk would be.
Yeah.
The real way to do it is to strip out the corners with cement and make all the corners square and bring it over. But anyway, which is like what we did in those nicer neighborhoods in Rosemary Beach and Alice Beach and stuff like that over in the multi-million-dollar houses. They make everything out of mud, and it's all real pretty and straight and square. And they had mahogany and teak windows there. The hundreds of thousands of them handmade. So I got the stupid door in. It doesn't have a threshold in it right now, so we'll have to figure out how to. I got to make a threshold, I guess. Maybe something out of PVC or something like that. I think probably be one of the better things I could do. I'll go see what they got for sale. Now I know how high it's got to be. So we got that in. I got the kitchen in last week. Put in, appliances. I've been doing kind of like working on my own house again.
Yeah.
And she had somebody buy hand-painted tiles. She bought hand-painted tiles for a backsplash, which is pretty cool. So it's like looks like water.
Have you thought about just hiding random illicit things in the walls?
So I usually do something on most houses. I'll write like on the top of the cabinets.
Like a brick of cocaine, you just hide it in the wall. And then call the police on her later when they don't pay.
I like to go with baby skulls. Bunch of baby skulls.
Well, the plastic skeleton things, you put those in dead spaces. Those are fun.
Yeah.
But no, I'll leave no, it's funny. My old church, this was a long time ago, and they had built that church. My dad built that church when he was a teenager. So it would have been like 40 years ago. And it's just been remodeled over the years. It was a well-built building block, but things change, carpet and all that. And they moved some stuff around to put the sound booth in, and they're taking out the walls. This is a church. And there's all these Busch Light cans in there and Bud Light cans. They'd stuck them in there. So, no, I like stuff like that.
You should do some tasteful nudes in a Polaroid fashion and just put those up.
Seinfeld? Yeah, like Alexander did.
Yeah, just leave those up, somewhere.
Well, if you want to send me some, I'll put them in there.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. I got a funny thing on that, too. So,
this could be a fun segue.
The last 2x4 that we covered up in the house.
Yeah.
It was the one between the kitchen and living room where I put the slab of wood.
Yeah.
As a bar. And it was conveniently the last one that we put out, but it was one of the first ones that we exposed whenever we started all the construction. And me and Crystal both signed our names and put 2022. And so before I sealed it up, I put 2022-2025.
Nice.
Like 22 to 25. So it was a 3-year small renovation.
Yeah.
I think a little time capsule thing's not a bad idea. I've seen some stuff on some of these house shows where they're remodeled and found things like that. And the guy like still lived in town. That's kind of cool. I'll think about it. That's a good idea.
Okay.
So that's that. And then we're about to move on to the second phase. We're basically going to tear off the whole back of our house, the whole and covered patio and all that, raise the concrete and frame it. And we can't find anybody to frame it. So I said, well, I can frame it. I just don't know all the codes, I don't frame every day, but I know how to frame. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you just have to tell me
what the codes
where
are.
I put hurricane straps here.
Yeah.
Does this have to have a beam here? What has to be over this size opening? What kind of, do I have to buy a Lambo beam? But I don't have to buy the materials. I just give him a bid for the labor. So we'll see if he wants me to do it. And then it's just going to be really hot. Makes me nervous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be, they got a pool back there. I might just jump in the pool.
You should do it.
And, so that's coming up. And then I've got to do tile. That week you're gone, Ross, I will be starting we're doing another remodel with a bathroom, and I got to tile a bunch of different tile. They got pebbles on the floor that look like little rocks and little slate pieces for the walls. That we're going to build a custom vanity that's floating with a 4-inch thick top, 4-inch thick solid surface top. So I see, you probably should have told us that, but it's going to touch the wing walls that come out. So I'll be able to screw into the side studs. So it should be able to hold whatever we put on it.
Okay.
Mostly open on the two sides, and then just some like a U-shaped drawers around the
pipes.
Trap. So yeah,
nice.
And then I got to draw that in SketchUp, and then that's pretty much it. I'm just tired. I'm ready for the weekend. We got Father's Day coming up. I got to build a planter box for my father-in-law as part of like my shop rent over at their house. So.
Okay.
I told him I would do that, which shouldn't take too long. They were going to try to do a block and stuff, but it was just too hard.
Yeah.
There was roots. So
I got some door questions while we're talking about, we just talked about doors a bit ago. I don't know if it's good stuff. Okay. So in our house, I think they put the doors in before they redid all the foundation, right? Because we're on a pier and beam.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the doors don't fit. They don't close, they've shifted.
What's the best way to fix it?
My plan of attack was I have the electric hand planer and just cutting the doors down to fit.
Are you able
What's a better way?
Are you able to peel back the weather stripping a little bit to see if
I think
there's
you're talking about the interior doors too.
Yeah, mostly the interior doors.
Okay, so usually there is weather stripping or some sort of like a silencer, kind of like a gasket on the inside of the door frame. If there is, peel that back a little bit, and that's usually where the screws that are on the shims are hidden. And you could see how it's shimmed, and maybe you can like tighten stuff up, where if it's rubbing, tighten up there. If it's a huge gap, loosen it up.
Are they all new, like hollow core doors?
Yeah.
So as far as the exterior doors, like Ross said, you can kind of screw that. There's 2 ways to do it, Colton. There's only 2 ways to do it. You take the trim off on one side, you run a Sawzall with a metal blade down it, cut all the nails that they've got up there with it, and rehang it. Put a screw in the top hinge and kind of use that, all the way into the studs, and use that as like a thing to pull the door over and just keep opening and close it till you get it just where you want it. Shim the sides and reshoot them and re-put the trim back up. Or if it's not so bad that you're gonna like see out a square door, then just take the door down, scribe it with something so you know about how much you got to take off plus like an 1/8, and take them down and track saw them back up.
Or get your block plane out and clean up the door frame some.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, the frame itself?
You could. That way
it depends
the door
on
looks,
where it's rubbing.
Yeah. That way the door
depends.
looks a little bit more uniform everywhere.
Like if it's bad, if it's really bad,
just rehang it.
Just freaking, you yeah, you might as well just rehang it. But if it's like you just got to take a 16th off of the long edge, and it's not going to mess up your locking mechanism too much, just put it on a track saw and just cut it a little taper on it, repaint it.
Oh, a track saw. Okay.
Yeah, a track saw is better. The plane on a hollow core door, it tends to want to tear the face of it up. And then you put tape on it.
No. So I'm saying, wouldn't you want to do the frame rather than the door?
No, because you're not going to be able to do it to the frame. It depends. I'd have to look at it. But if you're closing a door and it's rubbing, like especially at the tops, because if it's shifted, that means it's going to be hitting at the top corner and the side top corner.
Well, some of the doors don't even close.
That's the best.
No.
Okay, so that's when you want to take it out and rehang it. And then basically all you're going to have to do there.
Some trim off.
Yeah, and then all you have to do is just cut the nails with a Sawzall blade, and just don't push it through to the other side and break the trim off on the other side. And just cut the nails, and then shim up. If it's falling that way, you're just going to shim up one side of the frame.
Oh yeah, okay. Just lifting the vertical.
Keep the door shut. Keep putting your shims and open and closing the door. Don't try to do it with a level. Just look at the door and make sure it's open and closing. And then shim up one leg of it up off the ground, and then big old long finish nails and shoot through your shims, and then
nice. I'm glad I asked. I was just gonna start hitting it with
take a buzzy, cut off all your shims. You take a buzzy and cut off all your shims a lot faster than a razor knife sometimes if they've got to be thick. And then put your trim back up, recock it, and repaint it. It's a lot of work either way.
Right on. Well, I got that new it's new to me, M12 buzzy that I'm pretty excited to use.
Yeah. So, they had an M12 hammer drill I wanted to get so bad, but so expensive.
Yeah. Okay, so one other thing. So it's technically a bedroom. It's going to be both me and Crystal's office. There's no windows in it. And so we were considering replacing, there's a door that goes to the exterior, and replacing that door with a door with some glass in it. And I don't know. Do y'all have any suggestions on that? I mean,
so just change out the door. If it's pretty square, if it's gonna have glass, it'll probably be a metal door, right? Is it going to interior or exterior?
It's exterior.
Yeah, you should buy a metal door with glass in it. You can buy just a door blank.
Right.
The hole's already drilled in it. And then just reline up your locks and stuff. If it's hitting now, though, the new door will hit too. So you need to straighten up.
No, the exterior ones are good.
Well, there you go.
Actually, the front door, there's kind of a gap, on the far that side that has the handle.
He's telling you, look for screws. Try to find how he screwed it in there, and
then lower it down like that.
Yeah,
what do you think if I just get extra weather stripping?
You would raise
big fat weather stripping.
I mean, that's the lazy way to do it, but you could do it.
That's the lazy way to do it.
Right.
Well, I'd rather. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but you'd rather do it right. Do it once, do it right.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
As my shirt says, do it right, whatever it takes. And then know that it's done. You don't have to go back to it.
I will tell all of you guys one trick whenever you're hanging a door, and this is something that I had to teach my other guy because...
Well, do we need to save this for a nugget?
No.
Okay.
No. When you're hanging a door, an interior door specifically, but also an exterior door, you got to shim, right? You got to buy nice shims.
Yeah.
By the way, there's a nugget for you. Buy the freaking shims. Buy spruce ones too. Don't buy the plastic ones unless it's exterior, and don't buy the yellow pine ones because the spruce ones are nice. They score and snap really easily.
Yeah, the yellow pine ones do not.
I did not know that.
Just go to Home Depot and buy them. It's like $4 for a big old box of them. So
I thought a shim was a shim, man.
No, and they're nice and tapered. Anyway, you can stick those shims between the door and the door frame, and you can get that nice 16th or 8th, whatever it is you need to keep from rubbing around your door. You know what I mean? And then when you've got those shims in, if you can slide another shim behind it and get it all to hold it right where it's supposed to go, you can carefully open the door, start shooting some nails in your shims and start getting it that way. If you try to level one side and level the other, I got it perfect. It's level. Look at this bad boy. I mean, it's like a laser. You close that door, it's not going to be right. It's not going to be right. I guarantee it. It's not about being level.
It's about being square.
It's about being square. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, I mean, you want it you don't want it falling open on you, so you put a little level at the top. And the way that they make doors nowadays, they shot nails through the frame into the door. I mean, they throw those things together so fast.
Yeah,
I usually kind of put screws in and stuff, but That's a little thing. You can use like a little tip of a shim and stick them all around your door. I also saw a guy do this one time. So you take the hinge pins out, okay? And you put your shim. You don't take the door out. You put your shims in there, and you take a crescent wrench and you bend the hinge things back and forth until they line up again. Because once you take the hinge pin out and you move the door over, they're not going to line up, right? But then you keep bending them with a crescent wrench, and you can get them back lined up. You put the hinge pin in, and it stays right where it's at. You've changed the hinge,
Yeah, really.
So yeah, I don't know how much you could do it with, but I've seen him do it. I've seen several people do it.
Yeah, if that is that's more of a
squeak too.
Yeah, so that's more of a repair you want to do if you're like a handyman and you're like, I want to fix this real quick and be in and out. But if you're
just rubbing a little,
if you're doing your own home, do it right. So
yeah, just take the trim off and kind of. It's never too bad, right? Because you got this. I don't know if you guys can see my hands. You got this thing going on,
and
you
down.
got this thing going on.
Yeah, and the back and forth. Yep.
Yeah, and so the back and forth is going to make it not shut tight all the way around the stop or the gasket if it's outdoor. And then you've got this deal, which is screwing up everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got this part, but that's the easy part, right? Because you can just bend that yourself. Yeah. But it's hard to hang a door well. It really is. I had those quick clips, those quick hanger clips that you screw, and you screw them into the side of the wall, but they don't always work in every application.
Okay.
So it's nice to be able to just do it the old school way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I want to hear about what Ross has got going on.
Okay. So Colton, you missed out on some of this while we were waiting for you to jump on. But a while ago, we're talking like March, April. I was talking to you guys. Actually, Colton, while you and I were at Workbench Con in the end of February, I found out that I was going to have to be building this sashiko bond table with epoxy on top of it, right?
Yeah, like the burnt one, right?
So, I went back and forth with that customer, the designer and the customer, probably 10 times, sent samples, did all kinds of stuff of like what it would look like. They decided on everything. And then I followed up a few more times because they wanted, information about the base, and they didn't like the base they had initially picked out. And so I sent stuff and then never heard anything. And literally a month and a half went by. And I was like, all right, they probably went with somebody else because they were on a time crunch. No harm, no foul. On Tuesday, around 5:00, I got an email from the customer who said, hey, just reaching out, haven't heard back in a while. You must be almost done with this table. When can you deliver? And I was like, I'm sorry, what? I never got confirmation on any
deposit
on anything, and I have no deposit. So I apologize. I haven't even started. And she's like, oh my God, we open like June 30th or July 1st, whatever it is.
Did she apologize that they dropped the ball?
No, her response was, wow, that's amazing. Let's move forward. And I was like, oh.
So she's full of BS is what it is.
But basically,
the other guy fell through.
Yes. So essentially,
give you a deposit now?
Yeah. So this lady on Tuesday said, I need you to build me this table. And I was like, well, I'm out of town the 22nd through the 26th. So if we're going to do this, she's like, can you have it to me by the 20th? And I'm like, that's 10 days. I need a deposit like right now so I can start ordering some of the materials to build this. And luckily I had the lumber, but I still need the hardware and a few other things. And so I got to go ahead and right then dropped a credit card, and she was like, let's do this. So I am building a 10-foot long by 40-inch wide oval tabletop. And then the base is a tulip style, which if you think of like the Jetsons, it's got one main pedestal and everything kind of like floats.
It's the Enterprise.
The Enterprise style design. So like the base of it, the very bottom of it where it hits the floor will be 6 feet long by 3 feet wide.
And oval.
And ovular. And then it'll go into a
ovulating.
Yep. Yeah. And then it'll go into a main post, and then up to the top where it'll then go to a 5 foot long by 24-inch wide or 30-inch wide tabletop where it joins the underside of the table. So it's all going to taper. It's all going to be very fluid looking. And Jess's question earlier was, how are you going to do that? And I was I
have a couple questions before we go to that part. So how thick is the top? Like inch and a half, 2 inches?
No, they have requested a 2-inch thick top. So today,
which means I was 2.5-inch wood.
So I literally started out today. I had 3 18-inch wide by 3-inch thick by 10-foot long red oak slabs, and I was wielding those things around all day, basically playing catch through the planer, trying to skip plane stuff. I think I lifted today. I'm not even exaggerating. If each one of these things was about
200 pounds to start,
200 to 250, like they were dried out, so it wasn't too bad, but like easily 200 pounds. I lifted each of them no less than 30 to 40 times.
Way to pump it up,
dude.
Yeah, man,
or hurt your back. One of the two.
Luckily, I was trying to work smarter, not harder.
Do you have some sort of outfeed type something for yourself?
I do have
a table that's a height.
I have an extension roller that I put up, but either way, every time you adjust the height of the planer, it doesn't really work. So like,
and they were skip plane too, so they're not like nice and flat coming out.
Correct. So I probably had to do 15 to 20 passes of each one.
Yeah, well, you just want to lightly do it if you're not going to face join it.
But then I then had to take them back to the table saw because I initially cut a straight edge with a track saw, and then I went to the table saw and I cut a rough width. Then I skip planed both sides. Then I went back to the table saw and squared up as much as I could because they were way too big to wrestle through the joiner. And then I flipped it over horizontally, so that I now had that totally square table saw edge hitting the fence, and I squared up the other side. And then I had to go back and try and glue everything up. So my goal was,
and they're probably not straight.
They were pretty close to it.
Not too bad.
But there was a little bit of warp in there. So I have C channel that's coming. I have a whole bunch of other stuff, but like that was today.
Did you use any type of joinery to
so
put them together to help you line them up?
I did use I have a Domino XL, which is the beefy domino, and
big boy.
That thing is a godsend when I was doing
for
this.
that it is.
I was able to cut all the joinery in about 8 minutes, which is ridiculous. It took me longer to clamp up everything and get it together. But
you could stand on it then and get it all lined up.
Dude. So yes, I still have some epoxy work I'm going to need to do to fill some checking. I'm going to have to fill a couple knot holes that are there. But so I had to lay out what the oval was going to be. I have access to a buddy who has a 12-foot by 5-foot CNC.
He's going to cut the oval?
I'm hoping, but I don't know if he's available.
I was going to ask you how you're going to figure it, because I did an ellipse one time and it was too surfboardy for them.
Yeah.
I got something on that on the CNC. So how thick was the top that you'd be cutting the oval out of?
If I could cut a form out of like plywood and then just use that to like as an edge guide, I'd be okay.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah, or
just draw SketchUp and send him the file.
Okay, so I was asking because he may not have a bit that long.
Yeah,
right?
Mine is a 2-inch.
Okay, so that's a honking bit. Not that he doesn't have it, but one thing he could also do, I've done before, is just cut in as deep as that bit will go.
Yeah,
and then flip it over and do the other way.
And then no, because that would be.
If you got a bottom edge,
you would get lucky to align it perfectly.
Yeah, I think I'd be better off using a jigsaw than and like rough cut it and then come back with a flush trim bit.
Okay, so
that's what I say. Like, you get your first cut, then maybe cut it fat, right, and then flush trim it. Yeah.
So what I used to, I had a top mounted bearing bit and a bottom mounted bearing bit, and you do the one that's the top, or in other words, closest to the router.
Yes.
You just do that on your template.
Yep.
Cut it rough wide with a jigsaw first, and that's a big cut with a jigsaw. Oh my God, it's gonna take you an hour and a half to cut that.
What I am gonna do though, rather than a jigsaw, because I hate jigsaws, is make probably 30 cuts.
Skill saw cuts?
No, with a track saw.
Track saw.
Yeah. Okay. Just get some of the meat off.
Yeah, hog off the majority, leave like a half inch of gap, and then I can follow up.
Yeah, because a jigsaw, especially with a blade that long, it could wane an inch.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'd be cut shy, and then you'd be fucked.
Yeah.
Are you going to taper the bottom edge?
Yes.
So it's got a little mid-century feel.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
So then, my thought is just draw it in SketchUp.
So
and send him the like a EPS file or whatever, and he can.
I would need him to cut two pieces out of like MDF or plywood or whatever.
Yeah, perfect.
And then I could use those. So I will reach out to him.
You could draw the base too. You could draw the base and figure out all your radiuses.
Yeah.
And then you'd know your radius marks and like how you would have to make like each piece. Because the guy that I saw make like the bowl table looking crazy giant thing out of plywood pieces, he's all Baltic. He had like a template for each one. And he had drawn it. So he knew how a little bit bigger. I mean, each one a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
and then
I unfortunately don't have time for that because I have to deliver this in 8 days.
Hey, for real, if your buddy with the CNC falls through, I think it surprised you how cheap that would be to ship from here. Like I could cut that out. So I have a 4x4 bed, so it'd be like 3 pieces, right?
Yeah.
I do it out of 1/2 inch plywood, be 1.5 inches thick. And I could ship it from here for, I'd say less than 100.
Picture first, the oval. Oh my God.
They've approved everything.
So if you're going to do epoxy work and you're going to burn it.
Yeah.
What's that going to do?
Which he's burning it less than.
So it's not going to do. They don't want the deep sashiki bond. It's more just like kind of lightly burning it so like it looks uniform. But I also got, for the first time ever, I'm going to be using Rubio monocoat. I've never done it before, but I'm like, I got to work quick. So I got Rubio black.
Yes, I used it on that walnut thing.
Yeah, so
it's the best one they got.
So I am going to use that to just make everything uniform. And then put that hard coat on there as well. And then I got the ceramic coat to follow up on it. So.
I will tell you that the trick with Rubio is to, obviously you're going to sand it to like 1,000,000 grit. So I know that part. They don't really want you to get it as fine as that. Like 220 would be where I'd stop and water pop it and then 220 again. But wipe it all down with mineral spirits.
Okay.
Before you do anything. And it will moisturize the wood, and the Rubio goes so much farther and so much less sticky and lasts a lot longer because they make a pre-oil.
Yeah.
A pre-oil, and it is mineral spirits. It's odorless mineral spirits, I'm telling you right now. And just soak that thing. And plus, that gets all the dust off and everything.
Nice.
Too.
That's a good nugget, man.
It is.
And it doesn't raise the grain. And then just when it's visibly started to like dry, do it right then. And start that Rubio. I would even invest in a little buffer if you don't have one.
I do have one.
Yeah, I just put it on with a foam buffer. Yeah, because your wrist is going to be broken.
Okay. I have.
The black is gorgeous.
Okay.
Is gorgeous.
Awesome. They want to be able.
It covers better than the other
They
ones.
want to be able to see the grain, but have it be black. And they were like, we want to burn it. I don't think they're going to need the epoxy. So I'm going to hold off on the epoxy and do it all as the ceramic coat instead. And that'll last longer for them between the Rubio and the ceramic coat.
Rubio looks the best on oak, period. Because it gets in those grains and you get the little darks and lights and you can see all that oak grain but it's still smooth.
So would it do different than like a black gel stain? I mean,
I'm looking for speed and efficiency on this one.
Black maybe or.
So, that I don't know. What I do know is this is going to be uniform and it's going to be done and it'll put that hard coat on top as well. It's got to be, because this is going in a restaurant. And so it's got to be heavy duty. But one of the things that I wrote to the customer a month and a half ago before I heard anything back was like, hey, I can build this base one of two ways. Either way one, build it solid and it's going to hold up everything and it's going to be incredible. Or way two, build it so it's strong enough, but make it hollow The difference is about 300 pounds. What are you willing to do as far as moving this table? And she never got back to me. She just said, do it. So I'm going to see what I can do time-wise and go from there.
Hollow. Less chance of it coming apart.
Yeah.
Because if you big, giant, thick pieces of wood want to move, no matter how dry it is.
Movement, yeah.